welcome to class. Our topic today is swimming fish with Sprite Lab. This lesson is designed to introduce you to the core vocabulary of Sprite Lab. And at the end of today's class, you should be able to create new sprites and assign them costumes and behaviors. You should also be able to define sprites. Listen carefully to a brief introduction on today's class.
This is Sprite Lab, a place where you can build imaginative and fun apps and other useful programs. This is a sprite. A sprite is something you can interact with, like a character in a game or an object in a scene. With Sprite Lab, you can change different aspects of a sprite, like its costume, location, and color. You can also change how a sprite behaves on the screen. Sprites can also interact with you or each other. You can create a dance party, a virtual pet, or an entire world of creatures that do whatever you tell them to. Now you can spend some time exploring Sprite Lab and see where your imagination leads you.
It's time to dig into some fun features of Sprite Lab. The first thing to do is to set up a sprite. To add a sprite, you can use the Make a New Sprite block. This block lets you give your sprite a costume and a location. If you want to change the sprite's location, you can click the pin in the location block and then click where you want it to go. You can change the size of your sprites too. To make a sprite smaller, you can use the Set Size block and then type in a number that is less than 100. If you have 2 or more sprites with the same costume, this will change all of them at once. Now, let's get the sprite moving by using a behavior. You can start by giving the sprite the spinning right behavior. Once the behavior begins, it will run over and over again forever, or until you tell it to stop. And that's all there is to it. Now it is your turn.
Welcome back. I bet you know what Sprite Lab is, right? So tell me, what is Sprite Lab? Sprite Lab is a block-based programming environment where you can make simple animations and games with objects and characters that interact with each other. So this means that in the Sprite Lab, you can create your own sprites. So tell me, what is a sprite? I'm not referring to the drink, I know you're familiar with that. But in computer science, sprite is a graphic on the screen with a location, size, and appearance. Sprites are objects, images, or characters that you can create in the Sprite Lab. So you can have your favorite animations as sprites in your program. Now let's talk about the next term, which is behavior. What is behavior in computer science? Behavior is an action that a sprite performs continuously until it's told to stop. So now let's head over to the Code Studio where we're going to be making sprites and programming our own fish tank. Swimming fish with Sprite Lab on the Code Studio. And this is puzzle 2 on the lesson. The first thing to do is to always read the instruction before programming. The instruction here says, look closely at the code below. What will happen after you click run? A. Nothing will happen. B. The tumbleweed will float to the top of the screen. C. The tumbleweed will begin tumbling. And D. The tumbleweed will blink on and off. Now take a look at the program you've been given. So look closely at it before choosing your answer. I'm going to choose Option C, the tumbleweed will begin tumbling, because if you take a look at the program closely, you will see sprite begins tumbling. Now let's hit the run button and watch our program go. Ta-da! This is puzzle 3. Let's make a fish tank. Change the tumbleweed sprite into any kind of fish by clicking this block. Can you see the block you've been given? Okay, it said be sure to also update this sprite costume in sprite begins block. Alright, so we are told to do what? To change the tumbleweed sprite. I'm going to click on this make new sprite block. Remember, the make new sprite block helps us to make a new sprite. So I'm going to choose any sprite of my choice. So I'm going to go with this, and it says be sure to update the sprite costume, okay, in sprite begins. So I'm also going to choose the same sprites I chose previously. Can you see my sprite is spinning right? Because that is the behavior in that puzzle. This is puzzle 4. The fish is getting dizzy. Change the fish behavior so that it swims left and right. Okay, now this is the toolbox area. Can you see? We have different blocks here in the toolbox area. The workspace area is where I am going to arrange my program. Okay, now it says we should change the behavior. In the one we've been given, the sprite begins tumbling. The sprite begins spinning right. Okay, the sprite is spinning right. Now we are asked to change the behavior so that the sprite swims left and right. Now look at the block here. So I'm going to remove this one and make use of this block. I'm going to hit run and watch my program go. Can you see my sprite spinning left and right? That was awesome. So I'm going to leave you now so you complete your puzzles on the Code Studio. I hope you had fun during this class. I did. Okay, see you in my next class. Bye.